Hello everyone, I want to take you through Module 2 Part 1B Question 1, and I'm going to focus on those parts that requires you to use StatCrunch. So that means I'll focus on Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D, Part G, Part H, and Part I. And we are going to use 2014 Rent-Hawk hockey data that is found in StatCrunch. So let's go to StatCrunch, and the first part requires us to construct a stem plot. So in StatCrunch, all plots are under graph, and then for stem plot you select stem and leaf, and you'll have all the variables in your data set appearing here. But now because our data set has only one variable, that's why we have only penalty minutes. So you select your variable of interest and then compute, and you will get your stem plot. Part B requires us to create a histogram. Again, we'll go back to StatCrunch. Under graph, you see histogram. Select your variable of interest, and you can add the x-axis label, the y-axis label, or maybe the title. So for this case, let's go ahead and add title. I had done that earlier, that's why it's appearing here. So I can have it as a histogram of penalty minute. I select that and then compute, and I will get my histogram. The then part, which is part C, requires us to create a dot plot. So go back to StatCrunch, and under graph you can create a dot plot. Select your variable of interest. Again, you can add the title if you want. I typed that earlier, that's why it's appearing here. And then compute, and you'll have your dot plot. And then part D requires us to create a box plot. Again, under graph we have box plot. Select your variable of interest. We can add a title of that, and if we want our box to be horizontally, we can select that and then compute, and we will have our box plot. Part G requires us to compute Q1, Q3, and IQR. So in StatCrunch you will find that under start, summary start, then select columns, select your variable of interest, and under statistics we have all these statistics. Our statistics of interest is Q1, then hold control button Q3 and IQR, and we can compute that, and that is our 3 statistics. Part H requires us to compute the sample variance and sample standard deviation. Again, in StatCrunch, go to summary start, columns, select your variable of interest, and then select variance, standard deviation, compute, and those are that is the sample variance and sample standard deviation. Last but not the least is part I, which requires us to remove the outlier and then go ahead and find IQR and the sample standard deviation. So we have our results here, and we can check one of the plot, which is box plot. You can see a value that is far away from the rest. So this is what we call an outlier, and if you select that, you can be able to see where that observation is, and we can go and then remove that. If you refresh, you get a box plot that does not have that point, meaning your dataset doesn't have an outlier. So after that, we go to start, summary start, columns, select your variable of interest. So we are required to compute a sample standard deviation and IQR. Those two, compute, and you get your 2 statistics. And that's all. Thank you.